I just love this. I love this so much. Hey y'all, it's Catalina. I'm back with another video. If you've wondered what this is in the background of my video, these are my nail polish swatch sticks. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made them, how I organized them, and all of the supplies you would need if you want to make them as well. So before we get started, huge shout out to Hillary from Mediocre Manny. She was the one who inspired me to do my swatch sticks like this. I will link her channel down below. Definitely check her out. She has a very thorough, in-depth tutorial on how she does hers, and it's pretty similar. I'm just going to highlight some of the differences in case you've already watched her video, but if you haven't, check it out. There's a bunch of wonderful tips, but this is how I did mine. When I first started swatching my nail polishes, I used a swatch wheel that looked like this, and then I used a swatch book that looked like this, and those didn't work out for me because they didn't allow me to put a new color in between two other colors that are already established. The book did let me do that, but it was so annoying to have to take the little nail tips off and then move them down and then move them down every single time I got a color that was in between the two colors. And it was really important for me to have them in some sort of rainbow order. When I finished this, I just stared at it for a few days. I would walk by the room and then just be like, oh. It's just so nice to just like touch like this. Okay, I'm gonna be inserting a picture over my face probably. This is what it looks like. My nail polishes are in roughly rainbow order. We have like a gradient from red to orange to yellow to green to blue, indigo, violet. After the purple violets, I switched over to pink. Then we have the neutral tones. Then we have the hard to describe colors. I put those all together, went on to the metallics, then the white, the black, multi-chromes, magnetics, and toppers. This cork board is actually from Target. It was super affordable. I think it was like $11, $12. Hillary from Mediocre Manny hangs her swatch rings up with command strips. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to buy the command strips. So I did what any self-respecting Barney bag loving kid would do. Use the supplies I had. I pulled down some swatch rings so I can show you the different ways that I label my nail polishes. They're a little bit different from Hillary. Hillary uses just clear tape, but I also already owned a label maker. I have the Epson LWPX300. My label maker has 12.5mm tape. I would recommend getting one that has a 9mm tape because that is the right size for these swatch sticks. This label maker can actually accommodate tape that is 9mm wide, but I had a bunch of rolls that were already 12.5mm wide, so I just was trying to use up my stash, and the 9mm tape was really expensive. So I put frames around the names of the polishes and the shades. This looks like a little tag. I have the nail polish brand at the top and then the shade name underneath it. The frame is a function that my label maker already has, and that really helped me cut around the edges and make them fit. So thankfully the frame was just wide enough for the swatch stick. So one of the things that I do different from Hillary is that I use the frame to help me remember what kind of formula the polish is. So if it's a regular formula, whether it's a glitter or shimmer, it has the regular tag like I showed you. If it's a textured formula, then I put two little palm trees on the side of it. I figured that this would help me remember that this is a sandy texture. So for my magnetic polishes, I used a spaceship and a galaxy. For my jelly polishes, I used a test tube. For my glow in the dark polishes, I used a little witch and a potion brewing thing. Most of the glow in the dark ones are from Halloween collection, so I just felt like that fit because she would be brewing a little glow in the dark potion. You can use whatever system makes the most sense to you. For photochromatic or light reactive polishes, I use the frame that looks like a little film roll. And for thermal polishes, I use a little chili pepper. And yes, this is a Walking Dead themed nail polish. I have about 500 nail polishes. It took a few months to get all of the swatch sticks done. Again, I feel like it would have definitely been a lot faster if I didn't have a label maker where I had to cut essentially around the frame. But now that it's done, I really love it. I love it so much. It makes it very easy to plan my manicures. I'm just like, if I'm in the mood for a red, I go to the red section, I pull those out, put them on my hand, compare them, and that's great. So if you're gonna make these swatch sticks, here are some tips so that you don't run into the same issues that I did. Aside from getting a label maker that has 9mm tape already in it, you should definitely use 2 coats of base coat on this swatch stick before you paint the nail polish color. I'm gonna insert a picture of what this one looks like. This is OPI's This Color Makes Waves. This is one of the first ones that I did. If you don't do 2 layers of base coat, then you're gonna get a wrinkly kind of texture. I know what you're thinking, double up on base coat for swatch sticks. I'm gonna run through a lot of base coat. Base coat is expensive. So what I did was I had quite a few base coats that just didn't work out for my chemistry, for my nail chemistry, so I used those up. Then when they got to the bottom, I combined all of them together into one nail polish jar, and then that way it refilled it, added some thinner to make it workable again, and used that. And then when I ran out of that, I bought LA Girl Gel Extreme Shine Clear nail polish. This one I found worked the best for my swatch sticks. This is not very expensive at all. I got mine at Target. With this one, you really only need 2 coats when you have a shimmer or magnetic that will show the texture. If you have really nice creme polishes, you can get away with just doing 1 base coat of this. But this one is my favorite. I have made over 500 swatch sticks, and this is when I ran out of the base coat, this is the one that I was like, oh, I wish I was using you from the beginning. Another thing that I ran into was that some of the nail polishes or base coats that I owned that I was trying to use up for this project made the plastic really, really cloudy. And that's why the LA Girl Gel Extreme Shine one is my favorite, because it left them the clearest. It's not 100% clear, but it left them the clearest so that my toppers, I can still see through them. There were the other nail polishes, I don't know, their chemistry did not react well to the plastic and just made them really cloudy no matter how many coats I put them on. Even when I still had the other base coats, when I was making my toppers, I would use this. So most of my swatch sticks are 2 coats of the color and then a top coat. There were some swatches that I knew I would never reach for that color if I just swatched it with 2. I thought that it would look best with 3, so I had to figure out a way to differentiate which are the ones that I use 3, just so I know in the future when I'm using this polish, it's gonna need 3 coats to look how I want it to look. I just use a black nail polish to put a little dot. These are the ones that you have to use 3 layers. So there's a lot of debate as to whether or not you should top coat them. Some people just leave them with no top coat so they can see what the texture of the polish is. I don't like that. I also had a bunch of top coats that I wanted to use up, so I just used them for this project. There were some nail polishes that I have that are matte, and I wanted to keep that matte, so I did put a matte top coat on them. If you've seen Mediocre Manny's video, you know that she paints them out on a silicone mat and leaves them to dry overnight. I did the same thing. I would do a batch at a few nail polishes at a time, and then she put hers in a jar to dry for a couple of days to be fully cured. I did the same thing. That worked out perfectly for me. These are the last batch of nail polishes that I got from my Black Friday hauls. These came in early January, so I still have to put them on the ring, but I wanted to show you that this is where they live until they go on the board. For my magnetic polishes, I ended up making doubles of those because I wanted to see what it looked like magnetized and what it looked like unmagnetized, because if you saw my nail polish goals of 2024 video, magnetizing nail polish is a lot of work and it takes a long time. So it increased my chances of wanting to use it if I could see what it looked like unmagnetized. So this is my favorite ring though, because it just looks so pretty. Oh, I wish this is how it stayed on the nails. Isn't that amazing? Sometimes I just, come in here and stare at the board and pull these out and just, my precious. So I mentioned it in my nail polish goals for 2024 video that I am into nail polish stamping. I find it very therapeutic and relaxing. It does take a long time, and in order to speed up that process, I did the same thing with my stamping polishes. There's not enough room on this board for my stamping polishes, so I did buy another cork board. I'm not sure if I want to hang it up next to it or underneath it, or out of frame, but once I figure that out, I'll share a picture so y'all can see what it looks like. So for now, all of my stamping polishes are on this little setup here. If you're into nail stamping, you know that it's very important to know the opacity of the nail stamping polish. Even though generally nail stamping polishes are more opaque than regular nail polishes, that's why they're a different kind of polish. So this is why it took me months. I had these 3-level nail polish swatch sticks where it's like three nails in one stick, and I was thinking of using that for my swatch sticks. It would take up less space, but I would eventually run into the situation where I buy a color that should be between these two and it would bug me that it wasn't between the two. So what I decided to use these for is for my stamping polish swatches. So I painted all of these white with a white nail polish that I did not enjoy. I thought it was a little streaky, but it worked for this project. And I painted half of it black. I didn't use a stencil or anything because it doesn't need to be perfect. Then as you can see, I put numbers 1, 2, 3, and I have a spreadsheet where I know number 1 is this, number 2 is this. It does bug me a little bit that they're not in rainbow order, but I have them in rainbow order here, so it's okay. So this middle one is a good example of a polish that works pretty well on white, but kind of disappears on black. So that's important for me to know when I'm making my designs, because I don't want to waste time starting all over because I chose the wrong brown. So very quickly, I'll go over the other 3 stamping rings. Some of the stamping polishes that I have is from a brand that I'm no longer interested in buying. I'm not going to mention the name of it, but I'm going to use up the polishes that I have and the stamping plates that I already bought. But I'm not going to promote that brand because its values no longer align with mine. But I did find a new brand to get excited about. So very quickly, these are my metallic stamping polishes. These are the cremes and neon cremes. There's no metallic, no shimmer. And these are the jelly ones. These are so cute. So the new brand that I've been trying out is She Modern. I've really been enjoying their stamping polishes a lot. Their sticky black and sticky white polish is really good and very, very easy to pick up. Very intricate designs on plates that are etched finely. Super easy to use. She Modern has this other formula called Aquatic. It's basically a jelly with like a blue little shift to it. These are super fun. And you can get them on Amazon or you can get them from the She Modern website. None of this is sponsored, but if you want it to be sponsored, She Modern, reach out. So aside from the stamping polishes, I also have my toppers on black swatch sticks and white swatch sticks because some toppers can look very different depending on their undertone, especially if they're iridescent ones. So you see how some of these have 1 dot and some of these have 2 dots. That's to let me know how many coats I use for these swatch sticks. There are some polishes that are sheer on 1 coat and can be used as a topper, and I wanted to test those out on some of the black and white swatch sticks, but I had no way of remembering how many coats I did for that one, so I decided to do the little dot method. And that's the same thing I did for the white swatch sticks. I know these are like off-white natural. I ordered white ones, but this is what came in and it was close enough for my purposes, so it's fine. Okay, so I know this video was just an overview. I didn't do any painting because I don't have any new polishes to swatch. I've finished swatching all of them. If you want to see what the process looks like, I highly recommend you check out Hillary's video. But this was inspired by her, so thank you for coming up with that system. Thank you to the subreddit r/Reddit Lacaristas for all of the tips. So that's the end of this video. That's how I made my swatch sticks. Thank you so much for watching to the end. As always, if you have any questions about what I talked about today, you have any questions about the swatch process, you also watch Mediocre Manny, or you have swatches that are different than mine, let me know by commenting below.